A man dies in a motorcycle crash, but his death listed as a coronavirus death.
How are officials explaining this?
Well, Charles, they really haven't given us much of an explanation at this point. The way we found out is I was asking the county health officer about 2 coronavirus deaths involving people in their 20s and whether they had any underlying conditions. Then one of his answers surprised us.
The first one didn't have any. He died in a motorcycle accident.
New questions tonight about the accuracy of the state's coronavirus death numbers. Orange County Health Officer Dr. Raul Pino telling us one person reported to have died from COVID was killed in a motorcycle accident. So was it removed from the data?
I don't think so. I have to double check. We were arguing. We were discussing and trying to argue with the state, not because of the numbers. I mean, it's 100. It's not make any difference if it's 99. Yeah. But the validity that the fact that the individual didn't die from COVID-19, died in a crash. But you can actually argue that it could have been the COVID-19 that caused him to crash. So I don't know the conclusion of that one.
We looked into it, and there are still 2 people in their 20s on Orange County's data list for COVID deaths. So is this a contradiction to how the state says it's counting deaths? The Florida Department of Health sending Fox 35 a statement saying a COVID death is determined if COVID-19 is listed as the immediate or underlying cause of death or listed as one of the significant conditions contributing to death, or if there's a confirmed COVID-19 infection from a lab test and the cause of death doesn't meet exclusion criteria like trauma, suicide, homicide, overdose, motor vehicle accident, etc.
The only thing that I could say to people is that the data that I'm providing you with is the data that we consume from the state, and we are offering you to the best data that we have.
And Dr. Pino tells us that the medical examiner's office has to sign off on all COVID-19 deaths. We also reached out to that office and have not heard back. Reporting live in Orlando, Danielle Lama, Fox 35 News.
And let's just take someone getting hit by a bus and they collapse along and they go into the emergency room and they're there for 15, 20 minutes. Blood work comes back, COVID test comes back positive, and they die 20 minutes later because of their collapsed lung. We're going to put that down as COVID-19? That doesn't make any sense.
National Spotlight Sunday shattering the national record for the most coronavirus cases in a single day with 15,300. Today, Florida once again has more new cases than any other state with more than 12,000. Thanks for joining us. I'm Luann Sorrell.
I'm Charles Belay. Statewide, the positivity rate is now 11%, and that number has been key in the debate over how to fight this virus. Fox 35 investigating the numbers tonight. There are dozens of labs that process tests. On the state's website, we found numerous labs that are only reporting positive test results, so they show a 100% positivity rate. That got our attention. Fox 35's Robert Guadarrama has been investigating. And Robert, once you started asking questions, you uncovered a new issue with these numbers.
Charles, that's absolutely right. Orlando Health confirming its numbers on the report are wrong. The Florida Department of Health releasing its daily coronavirus testing report, showing a statewide positivity rate of 11%. But Fox 35 quickly noticing some shocking positivity rates. Countless labs reporting 100% positivity. That means every single person tested was positive. We sifted through the reports to find local testing sites with high numbers. Like this Centricare, 83 people tested and all positive. Check out the Orlando VA, a positivity rate of 76%. NCF Diagnostics has a location in Alachua, 88% of tests coming back positive, and 98% for Orlando Health. How could that be? We investigated these astronomical numbers, contacting every location mentioned. Orlando Health, the only to respond, confirming errors in the report. Its positivity rate is in fact only 9.4%. Now, we just heard back from the Orlando VA. They are looking into the numbers. We haven't heard back from the other 2 labs or the Florida Department of Health. Of course, it makes you wonder if these numbers are wrong, are other numbers on the report also wrong? We'll stay on top of this story. Reporting live in Orlando, I'm Robert Guadarrama, Fox 35 News.
Technically, even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So